Yo, 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 yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show, man. Top of the morning. Today is November the 19th. Tons of NBA action on the board for today. So we're going to jump right into it. We'll start off with a recap of yesterday. Finally, a winning night for me. Needed to get back on track. Yesterday on the show, I told you guys Portland was the top player today, and they got the job, not Portland, Phoenix got the job done against Portland last night. So that was a winner. And then I added the Warriors and the Orlando Magic under at the end of the first quarter, and it still was a little sweaty, but just a really, really high scoring first quarter. It flew over the original total, but it did stay under. And if you got the line after I sent it out to the members, then it was also a winner, because I think the total one ended up going all the way up to like 244, but they did stay under the 236.5 that we caught live at the end of the first quarter. And then the loser was the Jazz. I took their team total under 113.5 because they were 6-0 to their team total under in road games so far. And I could just tell from the beginning, the Lakers like, nah, we're not gonna play any defense. We're just gonna play a lot of offense tonight. So that ended up being a loser yesterday. But 2-1 night, I will take it and try to move forward. There's a couple of bets that I want to get to today. I haven't placed yet, but I think we can find the right side of. So hopefully you guys were able to make some money yesterday. I won't spend too much time on the comments just because there's a lot of games for today, but I do want to go through and see who's here. What's up, Prolific? Gina says, good morning, Chris in chat. Cash Phoenix plus 2.5. Golden State team total under 113.5. Boy, that was sweaty. Yeah, it was like layup after layup. I watched Desmond Bane just get to the rim, like blowing right by Orlando's defensive players. And then same thing on the opposite side. Jimmy Butler getting to the rim. Steph was 7-15 from the three-point line. It was a lot of offense in that game last night. I watched it from beginning to end just because I placed that live bet. So I was like, had that game on, and then I had some other games on my phone. Like I had a lot going on yesterday. But I did get a chance to watch that. What's up, Jay Sunshine? Appreciate you tapping in. He says you catch Jimmy points and assists. Free sauce is tapped in early. Appreciate you on the way to the gym. Love to hear that. Got my workout in this morning. What up, Free sauce? Says Luka, king of the court last night. Okay. Fox assist was terrible last night. Good morning, Tag. He says, judging from last night, are the Warriors taking a loss again today? I would think Jimmy would get up for today's game, but last night he played almost 40 minutes. Yeah, that's why the line's already at 6. So we'll talk about it. What up, Lowe's? Appreciate you for tapping in. This is Magic plus the points was sweat free last night. Looking to fade the Warriors again today. Butler and Buddy beefing. Yeah, I don't know if that's real beef, but yeah, I did see that. Good morning, Vario says, good morning, Chris and Chad. Phoenix money line for plus money last night was easy. Lakers plus 11. Aiden looked like he had found a home. He did have double-digit boards last night, go with 20 points last night. Shout out to Aiden. I didn't think that he was going to be the best beneficiary, but that Jazz defense is absolute Swiss cheese. I should have just took the Lakers team total over. That was my fault. I didn't think the Lakers needed to score that many points, but I was wrong. What's up, PZ? Appreciate you for tapping in. Good morning, Locke. What up, Helms? Martez, good morning. Chosen One, good morning. Millsby says, I took Lakers live at halftime minus 6.5, like clockwork in the second half. Yeah. Cavs money line for Maurice. All right, let's jump into the games that we have on the board for today. So yesterday, let's see. Yesterday, JaXon liked LeBron over his 26.5 was the number. Points, rebounds, and assists. And JaXon also liked Austin Reeves over his 23.5 points. So those were the two looks from JaXon yesterday. Bron ended up right at 26. 11 points last night. He just didn't shoot the ball. 12 assists and 3 rebounds. So he missed on the hook last night with points, rebounds, and assists. You expect him to get more than 3 boards, but I don't know. And then Austin Reeves over his 23.5 points was a winner. He finished with 26, shot the ball really efficiently. So 1-1 day for JaXon yesterday. As far as today goes, ask JaXon what were the top 2 player props on the day player props on the board for today. JaXon likes Alfred Sengun over his rebounds and assists line. I like this. Over 16.5, minus 122. Says the season hit rate is 83%. Last 5 is 100%. Season average is 17.75 assists plus rebounds. And this is all predicated on not just him going over the line, but also the matchup analysis. It says that Sengun faces the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are a solid defensive team, but their defensive versus position ranking against bigs for this prop is 9th, while it is a tougher matchup, while this is a tougher matchup than Jokic's, the sheer volume and consistency of Sengun's production, especially in assists, often overcome defensive resistance. So the Cavaliers rank 16th in defense, a defensive rebound percentage, which could slightly aid to Aiden's rebound efforts. I think Sengun's gonna have a big game today. The Rockets are surprisingly strong this season, 9-3 record, second in point differential, largely due to their elite offense. First in offensive rating, Sengun is the engine of this offense, running plays through the post and acting as the team's primary distributor. So that's the first one. Alfred Sengun over his rebounds and assists at 16.5. And then the next one is hold on. Am I tripping? Let me just double check something real quick. Okay, so we can't talk about that one. All right, we are going to, let's see. JaXon likes same game. JaXon likes Sam Merrill under his 10.5 points. So I'll give you guys this one as well. It says it's arguably the strongest underplay available today due to extreme defensive mismatch. So Sam Merrill's facing the Houston Rockets, who rank number 1 in the league against wings for points allowed. This signifies the toughest possible matchup for Merrill at his position. Despite Merrill's season average of 13.92 points per game, his historical performance against the Rockets is severely suppressed. In 2 matchups against the Rockets last season, he averaged just 5 points per game and failed to hit the over in 100% of those games. The Rockets' defense is elite, 6th in defensive rating, particularly effective at limiting three-point shooting, which is Merrill's primary source of his offense, 84% shot frequency from 3. This combination of the league's best defense versus position rank and Merrill's poor historical performance against this opponent makes the under a statistically sound choice since you get plus money odds. So that is the look for Sam Merrill under his 10.5 points. I want to do a little bit more research in that. I could get there. 2 player props in game. Link is in the description if you guys want to check JaXon out. Let's jump into it for today. So first game up I want to talk about is the Charlotte Hornets and the Indiana Pacers. We have the Pacers laying a point. It's up to 2 on Superbook. And they open actually getting 3 points. So this line has flipped. I'm thinking about the game last night, and I'm like, man, Pacers can't be laying points at all against anybody. If I want Charlotte, I definitely want them as a dog. So we go to the injury report really, really quickly. And this was another reason why I couldn't play it last night. LaMelo should play in this game. If LaMelo plays, I do think that they're a better team on the floor. They still will be without Brandon Miller. Trey Mann's listed as doubtful. He's been really, really helpful for them off the bench when Charlotte hasn't had LaMelo Ball in recent games. He had a big game against the Oklahoma City Thunder. The game before that against the Milwaukee Bucks as well. And then on the Indiana side of things, they are getting healthier. Benedict Mathurin came back in the last game. He did have a quote where he said something like, "We haven't even played a 15% of the season yet. Like we who says that we can't reel off 10 wins in a row?" And teams go on 10-game winning streaks all the time. I thought that was a little extra, but I don't know if this Pacers version of the Pacers is not gonna reel off 10 wins in a row. Now, do I expect Indiana to? I keep saying the same thing. Do I expect Indiana to eventually start to fight? Yes. I'm looking at Charlotte in this game though. If I'm betting it, I know the Pacers are 2-8 against the spread in their last 10 games. They've lost 8 straight. They've only covered 1 of their last 8, and they've had 8 straight games with travel. I wrote this in my notes yesterday. So they will be hungry and feisty for a win. But I kind of feel the same about Charlotte. Charlotte's lost 3 straight. Every single game since Melo came back, they've lost. But they have covered back-to-back games. What you don't like for Charlotte, it is still 4th game in 6 nights. But I feel like the Pacers have been playing a lot and traveling a lot as well. So this one is Charlotte for me or nothing. I do think the line's moving in the right direction. As far as the total goes, I do think it's a little bit more of an under game. Charlotte has gone under in, I think, every game since LaMelo came back. Let me just double check that real quick. But I'm pretty sure they're under in every single game since LaMelo came back. Let me just double check that. And I think the Pacers offense, I know the Pacers offense is actually one of the worst in the NBA as well. They eventually will start scoring the basketball, but I don't know, man. Right now, it's just been really, really difficult for the Pacers. Whether they're playing against a good team, a bad team. Let's just see real quick. Hornets are they continue to cover. They covered two of their last three spreads. Offensively and defensively, they've been the better team over the last 5 games. Both of these teams have been absolutely trash though. But and paces are playing pretty slow. Well, about middle of the pack. 17th in pace. Hornets are 5th in pace, but they have gone under in a lot more games. Let's see. Pacers are 5-0 to the. No, let's see. Pacers are 6-4 to the under in their last 10 games. Hornets are 8-2 to the under in their last 10 games. I thought I wrote that down, but I know I saw it last night. So, yeah, I think it'd be. I didn't play the game yet because I want to make sure LaMelo's going to be rolled in. We see the funny business with him all the time, but I do think Charlotte is the right side. Let's see. Let's see. Trends with less than 20 games sample. Late in my attention. Yeah, I kind of agree with this. Unless I'm watching it and I'm seeing it as well. I just said I'm not touching this game. Melo needs to get out of there. What up, G421? He says hit Pistons -1.5 in Phoenix on the money line. I did hit Pistons last night too. I didn't send it out because I got a much better number. As soon as Cade got ruled in, I got a much better number, so I didn't send it out. But I did hit Pistons last night too. Just wasn't official. Anthony says, "What's up, Chris?" Vario says, "Hornets on the money line." What up, Tariq? Says your Lakers came through for me live. Wish I had hammered them more. Suns pre-flop and live as well. Live under on the Nets. Yeah, Nets started off hot and they couldn't shoot the ball anymore last night. LJ says Pacers at the bottom of the league in the first half point margin, allowing over 60 in the first half. Not touching a Hornets over. Yes, under nothing for me in this game. It did open 238 and it's down as low as 236.5. What up, TV Grid says thanks for the Suns plus 2.5 parlayed with Lakers 100 in the first 3 quarters. You know what's crazy? I didn't think about it last night, but I didn't think about it yesterday during the day. But as soon as the game started, I said, why didn't I take the Lakers score 100 points in the first 3 quarters? Again, whenever the Jazz are playing on the road, you automatically can at least consider taking the other team to score 100 points in the first 3 quarters. I've only hit that bet one time this season. I want to know because I hit the Rockets against the Wizards, but yeah, that's a nice bet that you can always take. Tariq says I like the under 236. Take a shot on the Pacers first quarter possibly. Dom says I like the Pacers tonight. This might be their best chance of winning the game for the next week. Yeah, I can understand that. I think Charlotte's still head and shoulders better. I just worry about the Pacers giving up so many points on the interior. Miles Turner leaving, I think, is big. They don't have a lot of rim protection at all, in my opinion. I think that's one of the reasons why their defensive rating is so bad this season. What's up, Lightbearer? G421 says, guess this is a motivational bounce back spot for both teams. The under is in the scope. Yeah, and I agree with that. All right, let's keep it moving. Next game up we have is the Raptors and the 76ers. So line this one open with Philly laying 1.5. It's now flip of favorites to Toronto actually laying a point now. Total has gone up from 230.5 up to 232.5. It looks like on most books. This says 234.5. I'm sorry. Total hasn't moved from 234.5. It is up to 235.5 on a couple books, but I see 234 out there, 235.5. So you can pretty much get anything in between right now between the Raptors and the 76ers. So start with the injury report. Toronto only has Ochai Agbaji listed as probable, and then Colin Murray-Boyles listed as questionable. Philly has Embiid listed as doubtful. He hasn't played the last couple games. Adrian Bona is also listed as out. Paul George is out for injury management, and of course, no Kelly Oubre Jr. So I'm just looking at this game last night. I'm talking to Jay the other day as well when I did Jay's show on, what was that, Monday? And we were kind of talking about Philly not having a center. And outside of Andre Drummond, who is a hell of a rebounding center, defensively, he's absolutely chopped liver. Andre Drummond can't stop anybody. I was listening to the beat reporters talk about it as well. And I just think having no backup center is going to be huge in this game. Toronto should be able to get downhill, attack the paint, and be able to go in here and win this game. They've been red hot lately. Philly barely squeaked out a win. They potentially even should have lost that game, against the Clippers the other day. Had to come all the way from behind in that game to win. And I feel like Philly's starting to cool off a little bit. They're 7-2-1 against the spread in their last 10, and that's great. Like that That's absolutely amazing. But they have failed to cover in a few more games, because this team I want to say was like 6-0 against the spread at one point in time. They're 5-2 against the spread at the crib, so they have been hard to fade. But I kind of think that the losses eventually catch up with them when you potentially don't have Embiid, Bonner out there to back up Drummond, Paul George, like, who cares? But Paul George is significant because you don't have Kelly Oubre Jr. So now you're relying a little bit more on even more role players and reserve players. Not that Philly isn't a team that can kind of do good in this role, but I think Toronto is the better team right now. Toronto's 6-3 against the spread on the road, 7-3 against the spread in their last 10. They've won 4 straight, and they got revenge. The only when they went on that road trip, the only game that they lost was against the Philadelphia 76ers. So they've only played one revenge game so far this season. It was against the Bucks. They absolutely smoked the Bucks, beat them by 28 in that spot. I like the Raptors in this spot. I think they get the job done. I agree with the line flipping in this game. So that's my thought process on this one. What are you guys thinking here? Let's see. Helm says, Pacers have won one game in a month. They easily cannot win another for a week. That's a fact. That's a fact, y'all. All over Toronto here. Helm's like the Raptors. Dom says Raptors play of the day for me. Play of the week. Okay. Give me Raptors here. Raptors win margin 1-10. High TV Grid says. Dom says Sixers have been alternating wins and losses the last 6, and they are coming off a win. What up to my guy Mark? Hope all is well down in Texas, Mark. And speaking of Philly, I'm actually going to be in Philly tomorrow. I told you, I think I said this a couple weeks ago, but yeah, I'll be leaving for Philly in the morning. Be up there until Saturday. So I will be in Philly tomorrow. Just don't happen to be in the games. Sixers more consistent than my baby mama emotions. Oh my gosh. Oh God. All right, we got to keep it moving, man. Good morning, Cal. He says, good morning, Chris. When are you going to start breaking down games with Cal and Ski? Whenever. I don't even know if Cal's doing NBA right now, but if he is, whenever he reaches out, I can't do the midnight shows. We did talk about that. But yeah, whenever Cal reaches out, I will be back with the Sauce Network. Raptors -1.5. A lot of people like the Raptors. How many points for Maxey? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what Maxey's gonna do in this game, but Maxey's been hooping, man. I do think he's a MVP candidate right now. Maxey's been absolutely on fire. He 39 against Philly against the Clippers the other day. And Harden also got fouled. I forgot to mention this. Harden, if anybody watched that game, Harden got fouled on his elbow right here. I forgot who hit him. But Harden did get fouled on that last play. Should have been shooting 3 free throws, and I think that would have gave them the lead by 1. I want to say they lost by 2, right? I can't remember, but yeah, they should have. They definitely, Clippers deserved to win that game the other day. We'll see if the referees are as kind to Philly tonight. I like the Raptors in this spot with a little bit of revenge. Next game up, Rockets and the Cavs. So Cavs are getting 1.5 now. It looks like this line is moving to 2 on a couple books as well. Open, but Cleveland laying 4 is what I'm looking at. Total has come down a little bit from 234.5 down to 230. Down to 233 is as low as I see it. Let's see. Start with the injury report, and this is all right. So let's start with the injury report. So we have Jabari Smith Jr. listed as questionable, Tariq Eason being out, and of course no Dorian Finney-Smith and no Fred VanVleet. On the Cleveland side of things, Sam Merrill's listed as questionable, no Darius Garland, no Max Strus, and no Jalen Tyson. So initially, I saw this game the other day and I thought to myself, I want Houston in this spot. I want Houston. Then I saw Jabari Smith Jr. being listed as questionable. I said, I'm not sure. I've been talking about Cleveland, getting laying too many points at the crib, them, kind of going through the motions. Now that they're a home dog, I'm not quite sure. But if Sam Merrill's not going to be there, that's another injury, to a shooter that they will absolutely need in this game. I think the Rockets are the right side. I just really want Jabari Smith Jr. to be in. What I don't like for Houston is that they're coming off an overtime game. They do have an extra day of rest here, though, and they've covered 7 of their last 10 games. They're 5-1 against the number on the road as well, and they're 9-1 against 9-1 straight up in their last 10. The only loss that they have came against the San Antonio Spurs. But you can kind of say they cheated on the loss because they probably should have lost that game to Orlando. They just did, barely enough to win that game. And they do have a little bit of a look ahead spot because they got the Denver Nuggets up next. That game is on Friday. So there's a couple things not to like for Rockets. I don't like that they're coming up overtime. I don't like that they got Denver up next. I don't like that they, maybe could have lost that last game against Orlando. But Cleveland's also coming off an overtime game. And Cleveland's also just 2-6 against the spread in their last game. You would like that if you like the Cavs, you like that this is their 4th straight home game. They really had to have to travel a lot. But I look at the Cleveland wins, their recent ones, they haven't been impressive to me. They beat Memphis without Ja, had to come from behind in that game. And then they beat Milwaukee and Giannis got hurt. Before Giannis went down, it didn't look like Cleveland was going to win that game. So I do think Houston's the better team. Houston won both matchups last season. I argue that this Houston team is better than last year's Houston team. So Houston, for whatever reason, have been able to give the Cavaliers fits. And I think that they can do the same thing in this game. I wrote in my notes, Cavs team total under. Excuse me. I wrote Cavs team total under or Houston. And I considered Houston early. The last time I took Houston first half was against the Bucks when they were on the road, and they ended up losing the first half by 9. So I don't think I'm gonna jump in front of Cleveland early in this game. It feels like they can fade late, but I do think Houston is the right side. I didn't bet the game though. That's my thought process. Let's see what you guys are thinking here. AOD says Detroit basketball. Give me the Rockets today. Easy money, Zach says. I hate to hear that easy part. Rockets, but the W, Patrick says. I know. Bro, I hate to hear easy. I hate to hear easy, boy. I had Detroit last night, and they, Atlanta have ruled out like 3 or 4 players. And I'm like, all right, Detroit should, they've been owned by Atlanta for so long. I feel like Trae Young has been like the owner he owns real estate in Detroit. And, when last 6-7 years, Trae Young go to Detroit and absolutely crush this team. So I'm thinking, Detroit want to get that lick back. Cade fresh off 2 straight losses. I'm not 2 straight losses. 2 straight games where he didn't play. You got Duran. He should dominate the boards. No KP. No Reese Shea. And it's a 1-possession game with a couple seconds left. So I hate when people say easy too. If you think it's easy, just keep it to yourself. I don't want to hear the easy stuff either, huh? I'm with you. Ain't nothing ever easy. Mark says Kyle also not capping until NBA to December. It makes sense. Sports analysis. What are y'all talking about? I got to reach out to Kyle. What my guy doing over there? Let's see. Zach says Cavaliers on back-to-back plus Rockets are waiting for him. Easy. Oh God, some more easy stuff, man. Brian says, "What's up, Chris? Cavs plus 1.5 at the crib." See, here we go. So now we get the other side. Cavs money line for Maurice. Got the Rockets. Cavs got the same team as last year. Stop it, man. We know what the Cavs are going to bring. We know what the Cavs got already. Cavs money line. Not the same team though, Maurice. Not the same team without Darius Garland. I don't even think you could argue that, but I'm not here to argue. I'm here to try to find some cash. Jackson got an early Rockets plus 4. Tariq says he likes the over. That's boy, yeah. I try to just zone past it, man. Garland is out. He's listed as out already, Zach. All right. I do think Cleveland's gonna be feisty in games where they're a dog, though. I mean, that's just what home dogs, like short home dogs. Yeah, they're gonna be feisty for sure. I don't think it's gonna be as easy as people think it's gonna be. I do think the Rockets are a better team right now for sure. But I mean, you could say the same thing last night, right? Detroit full strength. Detroit got a sure back last night. Atlanta's missing 3 starters, and they win the game by 4 or 5 points last night. So, yeah, you think it's easy. I don't think it's easy, but I think the Rockets are the better team. All right, next game up. And the better team don't win every single night. We got to remember that too. Nuggets and the Pelicans. This line is terrible, right? The only reason I put it here is because line open 13.5 is up to 14.5. Total open to 32.5, and that's where it's kind of still at right now. We look at the injury report really quickly, and Denver will be without Christian Braun, and Julian Strawther is already ruled out for this game as well. Zion, man, Zion is listed as questionable for the 3rd straight game. So I need to, can we please, Zion, Pelicans organization, can we figure out what we're going to do with Zion? You can't be listed as questionable every single game and then not play, man. All right, I digress, man. I digress. But again, Zion's listed as questionable. Sadiq Bey's listed as questionable as well. Of course, no Jordan Poole, no DeJounte Murray in this game either. So Denver, again, they got Houston up next. I just talked about this, but they're coming off that really weird loss to the Chicago Bulls where they really just decided, we're not going to play any defense. It's the first time we've seen Denver just absolutely get mollywopped and rolled over under Adelman, I think, since he took over the team. So got to give him a little bit of credit, because Mike Malone, this Denver team wasn't listening to whatever Mike Malone was saying. I think we see Denver bounce back in a big way. Am I in a rush to lay 14.5 points with them on the road against the Pelicans when they got the Houston Rockets up next? No, absolutely not. Are they head and shoulders by far the better team and can win this game by 25 points, even on the road? Absolutely. I look at this Pelicans team. They've lost 6 in a row. They've only covered 2 of their last 6. It's their 5th straight home game, but it is 3rd game in 4 nights, 4th game in 6 nights. Denver won all 4 meetings last season. They covered 3 to 4 spreads. They were laying double digits like this every single game. So the way you play this one, in my opinion, is you play Denver early. First quarter is -4.5. I think they'll be winning this game by 7 to 8 points. But if Zion gets ruled in, then they may even play harder. The line will come down, and then I really want Denver. So that's the way I kind of think about this game. Denver first quarter against the spread. Denver first quarter team total over, whatever that number is. Denver's been absolute money in the first quarter, even if they don't play defense, which the Pelicans offense is so bad that they shouldn't be able to score anyway. So I want to bet on teams in bounce back spots where they were laying 12.5 to 14 points in their last game, and they absolutely came out super flat. So I'll play Denver in this spot early. I just didn't bet it yet because I want to see what happens with Zion first. If Zion gets ruled in, I think it's even better for Denver, in my opinion. But because he'll be, I'm not gonna say he's gonna throw off the chemistry, but I think they'll, have to get adjusted to him, and Denver may play with a little bit more pride and motivation, being that Zion is in, and they absolutely own the Pelicans. So that's my thought process in this one. Jokic triple double is always something that could be played. I'm not sure if he'll even play through, the whole game in this one, because I think that they absolutely bounce back in this spot and get this game out the way so they can concentrate and focus on, the next matchup with the Houston Rockets that's coming up on Friday. So quick thoughts on that one. Let's see. Pels should trade Zion to Memphis. Nuggets team total over. Forgot who taught me this in here, but whenever I see a spread bigger than 10.5, take the team's points over. See that? LJ says Denver first quarter. Pels 1-6 ATS in the first quarter at home. Jokic triple double versus the Pels, 5 out of the last 6 games. 2 things that I just said. I like it, LJ. I like it. Let's cash it. Give me Denver off the loss, Patrick says. The only reason I can't play over Helms is because the Pelicans offense is so bad. Like, I don't know if they ever going to be able to score. And what if Denver says, you know what? I can't believe we gave up 130 to the Bulls. They lost 130 to 127. What if they say, you know what? Like, let's just go ahead and crush this team. I can't trust the Pelicans offense to be able to score basketball. The Pelicans are averaging 108 points per game. In today's NBA, the Pelicans are averaging 108 points per game. And that's nasty. That's really nasty. Real quick, let's just see it real quick. So Pelicans are 25th in offensive rating. At home, 22nd in offensive rating. I want nothing to do with this game. I feel like the Pelicans, when they've been the home dogs this season, they're actually 4-2 to the over. The last 2 have actually gone over. They went over against the Nuggets. I'm sorry, over against Denver, over against the Warriors. But that's just them giving up points. Every team that they played against has gone over their team total, except the Lakers. The Lakers stayed under by half a point. So Denver team total over. I don't know how much I trust the Pelicans to be able to score. So that's my thought on that, Helms. What up, Craig? Says, was up watching Phoenix? I'm done with the parlay. Yeah. Be done with the parlays, man. The quicker you learn, the quicker you just keep your money. Wisconsin said this is a Fears game. I like Fears a lot. I do like Fears. He's getting all the experience. They just kind of throw him in the fire. What's up, Anthony? Appreciate you for tapping in. Tariq says great minds think alike. I love Denver first quarter. Nuggets 100 points by the end of 3 quarters. There we go. That could be the one, Dom. That could be the one for sure. Let's see. Pelicans at home are giving up 37 points in the first quarter. If the Pelicans are at home as a dog, which probably has been every game, they're 1-4-1 against the number. They lose about average of 15.5 points per game. They're giving up 37 points in the first quarter, 25 in the second. So what's that? 59. I'm tripping. That's not 59. That's 62. 62 plus another 29 in the third. 62 plus 29 equals 101. That's your 101. 101 points in the first 3 quarters. Times what they're giving up on average. So I like that. Freestyle says Jokic triple double minus 161. Yeah, that is gross. That is gross. The books are absolutely on. All right, let's go through one more. Bulls, Blazers, and I'll fly through the other ones really quickly for you guys. So Bulls, Blazers line open with the Bulls laying 1 point. I think it was 2 point, 1.5 points. Now it's up to 2.5. Total 230, 243.5. Up to 244.5 on a couple books. We look at the injury report for the Chicago Bulls. They have Trey Jones listed as questionable, Zach Collins listed as out, and Jalen Smith listed as probable. The Portland Trailblazers, of course, can submit the injury report late. You kind of want to wait. I do kind of want to wait to see what happens with Drew Holiday. He was ruled out 2 games ago against the Dallas Mavericks, of course, and then he came back. He missed last night as well. So being that they're playing second leg of back-to-back, third game in 4 nights, I'm interested to see if he comes back in this game. He was listed as doubtful last night. Jeremy Grant also listed as questionable for this game. And Scoot Henderson going to be out for a little while longer as well. So it's not the greatest spot for either team. I kind of feel like because both of these teams have kind of shown us their identities on the defensive end, it's a total that I kind of want to get involved with. I kind of want to play over here. Portland has been terrible defensively. The Bulls are also pretty terrible defensively. And both teams got a reason not to play defense in this game. Chicago's playing third game in 4 nights, coming off that big win against the Denver Nuggets, also coming out of altitude in back-to-back games. This is their 4th straight road game. And they played in 5 straight overs. So the Bulls have kind of, shown us who they are. They're a team that not going to play a lot of defense, but they really want to score the basketball. And I kind of feel like the Blazers will be able to score the basketball as well, especially if Drew Holiday is playing. Second leg of back-to-back. Watch Phoenix get whatever it is that they wanted last night, almost scoring 130 points. And it's also third game in 4 nights, fourth game in 6 nights, second game back home. I think the Blazers will be able to score the basketball in this game as well. I want to play over 234.5. I'm sorry, over 243.5 is a high number. I typically don't get involved, but these ones have, in my opinion, been flying over the total. So I do like this game to go up and over the number. That's my thought process on this one. Helm says, someone feed me something. I want to bet Chicago. Chicago should be the right side. I just don't want to lay points when I'm on the road just because Portland as a dog, we talked about this yesterday. I said Portland is not good when they're laying points on the road. But when you catch them, when they're laying points at home. But when you catch them as a dog, it's typically when you want to play on them in this spot. I don't know. I think it's going to be a possession type game, and that's where we see the line at. Even with Portland being on the second leg of a back-to-back. Remember, Portland was the second most profitable team behind the Denver Nuggets last season when they were playing second leg of back-to-backs or at the rest disadvantage in general. So that's my thought process on this game. I want to get there with the over. I think the total is high, but I think it's high for a reason. Portland against the spread, no rest, best team going back to last season. So Dom's says what I just said. Dom says what I just said. Mark says if Holiday Grant play Portland, thinking same thing. Kyle says both fast-paced teams are going to take a lot of threes. I like the over. Kind of want to play Portland after getting smacked. Anthony reminded people hit the like button. Says giving his time every day like clockwork. Show the support. Appreciate that, Anthony. Y'all can hit the like button. Does help out the algorithm for sure. High TV Grit says he likes Shaden Sharp over his 28.5 points plus rebounds. Would you wait though, High TV Grits, to see if Drew Holiday comes back? I do feel like he is the playmaker for the team without Drew Holiday. If Drew Holiday comes back, I think he'll take some of those assist opportunities. So that would be my hesitancy there. But let me talk you off though. Chicago team total over. They should be able to score, Brian. I do agree. G421 says can't fade the Bulls right now, -2.5. I think you fade them if they're a favorite, especially a road favorite. I think you play them if they're a dog. We just saw them laying points in Utah. They couldn't win that game. So that's my thought process on that game. I don't want the Bulls if they're laying points, especially on the road. This is not the Bulls' role. Matter of fact, let's just look at something real quick. Let's look at the Bulls since last season laying points on the road. Bulls are 5-4-1 against the number. So they're winning by right at 3 points per game, which is right where this line is. So far this season, they're 0-2 against the number. They were laying points November the 12th against the Pistons. Laying 3. We just saw this. Yeah, this was last week. A week ago from today. Laying 3. End up losing the game. End up losing the game by 11. Then they were laying points against the Jazz. End up losing the game by 3. And they were laying 4.5 in that spot. So, again, the Bulls is not the role you typically want. And the trend may, eventually fix itself. But they are 0-2 against the number laying points on the road. And the Blazers at the crib, I'm pretty sure. You just got to know the road sometime. Blazers, Trailblazers, home dog. Oh, I'm tripping. I forgot to add the S. Blazers as a home dog this season. I know they beat Denver, right? Yeah, they beat Denver. They beat the Warriors. The 4-0. 4-0 against the number 3-1 straight up. They beat the Timberwolves. They lost to the Timberwolves, but covered the number. They were getting 5.5, lost by 4. Beat the Warriors outright by 20. The Warriors were in the second leg of a back-to-back. Beat the Nuggets outright as well by 2, and they beat the Thunder. You talk about 4. This could be the top 4 seeds in the Western Conference. They're 4-0 against the number. Trailblazers are. But they had the rest advantage in every single one of these games. Yeah, they had the rest advantage in every single game. They had equal rest with the Timberwolves. So, I don't know. Take it for what it's worth, man. Let's see. Do you cover college football? Absolutely not, Zach. I don't know anything about college football. I watched it a little bit, but not enough to cover it. All right, let's fly through the other games real quick, man. Get ready to get out of here. So, what game did I cover? I didn't touch on Golden State, Miami, just because, Steph is listed as questionable. Not sure if he'll play or not. This line's already at 6.5, anticipating that he's going to be out. If I'm betting the game, I think I'm just looking towards Miami. I think they just should be able to, score the basketball. They are 6-1 against the spread at home. Second straight home game after beating the Knicks. Warriors, terrible spot. Second leg of back-to-back. Third game before nights, 4th and 6th. And it's the last game of the road trip, and they played a lot of games on the road. Steve Kerr came out and said, I think he's going to rest his players just because, what he said in the media yesterday. Go find the quote if you guys hadn't had a chance to look at that. And it's the last game of a 5-game road trip for them. They've been on the road a lot lately. So if I'm playing, I'm just, if I think Miami's going to win, I think they're going to be able to score. So I'm looking towards their team total over. What else? Sacramento, OKC. I'm betting on, if I'm betting the game, I'm betting on Sacramento not to be able to score. So their team total is 107.5. They are they're 2-0 to the under on their team total against OKC so far this season. OKC back at the crib where they play a little bit more defense than they have been. And Sabonis is out. So I don't trust this Kings offense on the road. I don't trust this Kings defense at all either. The number is a little too rich for my blood at 18.5. But Sacramento's 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 games. They've lost 6 in a row. They haven't covered any. Third straight road game of a 5-game road trip. First leg of back-to-back. They got a game against the Grizzlies tomorrow. And then for the Oklahoma City Thunder, first game back home after 2-game road trip. They didn't cover either of those games. But the 4 before they went on the road to not cover against Charlotte and not cover against New Orleans, they won all 4. They smoked every single team. And they didn't give up 108 points in any of those games. OKC won the first 2 matchups already this season. Sacramento scored 101 points in both games. Both games went over the total. But only because OKC scored whatever it is that they wanted. So that's why the spread is so big. I think Sacramento offense is going to suck. Under 107.5 will be the way that I'm betting that game. Washington, Minnesota, line open 16.5. 16, it looks like 16.5 is available. 237 total. Hasn't really moved a lot at all. I do see some 238s out there. Trey Jones is listed as questionable. Sarr is listed as questionable. And then Jalen McDaniels is listed as questionable for the Minnesota Timberwolves side of things, and Terrence Shannon is listed as out. So I'm looking at this game, and Washington's funny. They had a players only meeting. It's the funniest players only meeting I've heard in my life, man. This team, just got embarrassed by the Brooklyn Nets. They made Brooklyn look like they were going to the playoffs in their last game. So. 2-5 against the spread on the road, 1-9 against the spread overall. They've lost 10 games in a row already. They've only covered one of their last 10. Minnesota played their 4th straight home game, 4 straight unders for the Minnesota Timberwolves. This is 4th game in 6 nights for the Timberwolves as well. What I wrote in my notes is Washington may be able to, hang around for a quarter before falling back down to earth just because of the players only meeting. However, if Sarr doesn't play, they absolutely get run off the floor, in my opinion. This is just it's not a professional basketball team. So I don't have any money in my account. Even if I had $1 million, I wouldn't have $1 to put on the Washington Wizards. But I don't want to lay this big of a number with the Timberwolves either. So probably a look towards the Washington Wizards team total under, maybe Wizards first quarter, because they have been competitive early in games. But this kind of feels like to me, I wrote this in my notes too. It kind of feels like Sacramento. Remember when Sacramento was playing the Minnesota Timberwolves a couple games ago, and Doug Christie had kind of went off about the Kings not playing defense the game before. I kind of feel like you get a little bit of motivation for Washington. Is it enough to cover 16.5? Who knows? But it should be, but they're really just that bad. So those are my quick thoughts on that game. New York and Dallas. I actually bet this one. I didn't send this out yet, but I did bet. I bet Max Christie over his points, rebounds, and assists. So Max Christie listed at 15.5 on most books, minus 115. So not a lot of juice. Line was at 4.5 yesterday. It's up to 5.5. I think a lot of that is because Jalen Brunson has been upgraded to questionable in this game after not playing in the most recent games. It's interesting because Dallas sucks. They're 4-11 against the number. I think they're 4-6 against the spread as well. I think this is the last home game for them as well. Third game in 4 nights, fourth game in 6, coming off an overtime game. Coming off an overtime game before they went to Minnesota and got smoked, and then they're back home. So they traveled, but they didn't play a lot of minutes. And I kind of like that for Max Christie in this spot. So he gets a good matchup. This is a one-player prop that I kind of dove into. He gets a really good matchup against this Knicks team that's bottom 10 in points allowed via transition. And Christie gets 36% of his points via transition buckets in general. The Knicks are also dead last in spot-up defense, and Christie gets 32% of his points from spot-up as well. He's over in 12 of his 15 games for the actual overall season, but he hit 12 in a row before they got blown out to the Timberwolves, and they were playing on the second leg of a back-to-back, of course, coming off that overtime game against Portland. He only played 19 minutes, a season low 19 minutes as well. So first 2 games of the season, he actually went under this number. Then he hit 12 in a row, and then he went under. So I think Max Christie is in a nice bounce back spot. The reason why I didn't just isolate one thing, because Knicks are a pretty good rebounding team. I just think Christie's going to need to be out there, to be able to slow down somebody like Brunson and play some defense. But I think the offense will be there for him as well. So I played Max Christie over his 15.5 points, rebounds, and assists. That line kind of stood out to me. And that's it, right? Yeah, I think that's it. Also, the Knicks, which I know it seems easy to take the Knicks. I think they are the right side in the game, especially if Brunson comes back. They will continue to be without OG. Jalen Brunson, of course, questionable. I talked about that. Lively and Gafford are both listed as probable. No AD, of course. The Knicks are 0-4 against the spread so far on the road. They have not covered a road game. This is by far the easiest opponent that they have, but they have not covered a road game. We know that these trends eventually come to an end. They should be the right side, but Christie should go over his points, rebounds, and assists. And that is the slate for today. Every single game, we talked about it. Hit the like button for me on the way out, man. She had a ton of research and analysis on these games for today. Thunder team total over. T-Wolves roll here, Patrick says. Tariq says, Chris, the Warriors are going to be okay losing back-to-backs if they rest players today. I'm not sure. I just kind of feel like you just want to get out this road trip. What did they started at OKC, right? They got smoked. They beat the Spurs back-to-back, then beat the Pelicans. So what's that, 3-1? Lose last night, 3-2. I think they'll just be happy to get back to the West Coast, get Kuminga back, get back to getting some practice time in. It's a terrible spot for him. PG says Warriors are nothing. Points and rebounds for Christie. I took the PRA overall, dude. 77 Biggest says Knicks top today. Minus 5.5. He says tough card, lean Rockets, but didn't like their performance against the Magic. I would agree. Now here's the thing though, 77 Biggest. Magic actually been playing a little bit of defense. Not last night against the Warriors as much, but been playing a little bit of defense, man. Shout out to the Magic. Don't forget Brunson played for the Mavs. I had this in my mind. I didn't write it down, though, Zach. I do agree with that. Give me the Knicks on the money line. Not sure what you're putting it with. That's a juicy money line. I hope you cash it, man. Peace. Appreciate the show. Appreciate you, G421. Ryan says great job, Chris. Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate y'all for sure. Appreciate you, Mills. If Wizards make it somewhat close, Ant might drop 50. Remember what he said before the season? That's a fact, Pat. He said he's want to go crazy in these games. Real quick. I don't think the Timberwolves play tomorrow, but I do want to see who their next game is against and when it is. So give me 1 second. Timberwolves play on Friday. They play the Suns. Okay. Timberwolves play the Suns on Friday. Wizards play the Raptors on the road in Toronto on Friday as well. So not too much of a look ahead spot for the Timberwolves. I know I didn't mention this because I didn't make the graphics for it. The Timberwolves actually lost outright in Minnesota the last time they played the Wizards. So Anthony Edwards to go over his points prop would make a lot of sense in my opinion. I forgot to mention that. I was looking at it last night. I said, hold on, wait, what? Timberwolves, I remember, sometimes I remember these spots. I remember betting the Timberwolves last year in DC, because the Timberwolves, I don't even know who they lost to, but they had a terrible loss and they were laying like 13, I think it was. And I said, I'm going to take the Timberwolves in this spot. And they barely covered. I think they covered by a point, end up having a huge fourth quarter. But the game that they played in Minnesota last year, they actually lost. They lost 105-103. The Wizards were getting 11.5 points last season. 11.5 points on February 1st, 2025. And that game went under the 217.5. I don't even know. Did Anthony Edwards not play? Ant was out. Ant was out. It looks like they started Nickeil Alexander-Walker in his spot. And they lost this game. But they did lose. That's a better roster this time around, though, in my opinion. And the Minnesota Timberwolves are also coming off a game where they didn't have to play hard against the Dallas Mavericks. None of their starters played 30 minutes. Anthony Edwards played 29 in that game. Rudy Gobert played 29. If Alex Sarr doesn't play, Rudy Gobert should get 25 rebounds too. So take that into consideration when you're doing your handicap. And I'm going to get out of here, man. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Plays that we talked about, Toronto, Miami team total over. I didn't add the Christie look, but I do need to add the Christie look because I did play Christie. Actually, the only thing that I played so far. I like Christie a lot today. Max Christie of the was it number 15.5? I think it was 15.5. Yeah, over 15.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I played Max Christie over of the Dallas Mavericks over his 15.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I told you guys I want to try to find some prop looks. Really just hard to like cap all these games from a side and total perspective, then go into player props as well. But yeah, I like the points, rebounds, and assists for Mr. Christie today. Probably add a couple of these other plays as well. Like Houston, didn't bet them yet. Denver first quarter, team total, or on the spread. Sacramento probably score 102 points tonight. And a couple other things I like as well. But plays will be sent out to the members as they always are. Appreciate you guys for tapping in. Check the resources out. They're all linked in the description of the video. And I will catch you guys in the next one, man. Hit the like button for me on the way out. Enjoy the action for your Wednesday. And we'll be back. Actually, I think I'm going to go live tonight probably. Because tomorrow I gotta get up super early in the morning. Could probably do the show, but it'd probably be like 6 a.m. and I don't want to do a show at 6 a.m. That's not conducive for my mental health. So probably end up doing a show late tonight for tomorrow's game. So make sure you guys have the notifications turned on. I'll catch you guys in the next one, man. Enjoy your Wednesday in the action.